Hey guys, it's me, my face, and a quick little catch up. Today's little happy dance is brought to us by coffee because I am unsupervised. If you're new here, my name is Andrea, and this is a channel about cross stitch and other crafts as they pass by my field of vision. It's about drinking and cats and coffee and opinions, thoughts, and other stuff. It's the other stuff that tends to get us into trouble. If you're a returning visitor, welcome back. I am finding it way too easy to say, I'll just record a video next week. I would like to get out of this habit of only recording every 2 weeks. I'm a grown-up. I should have goals that I can achieve on a weekly basis, and I feel like it does keep me connected with the outside world. So there was nothing particularly keeping me from recording last week. I just didn't. I have a lot of just didn'ts. But we're here now. Let's see what we can accomplish. Let's just jump into the stitching. The first thing that I worked on is my Prairie schooler. This is double, and I am almost there, guys. Look at how good it looks. I'm trying to remember where I was last time. This is another problem, recording every 2 weeks. I have no idea what I've done. But I'm pretty sure that I did the pumpkin, and I'm going to sneeze. Hopefully I edited that out. The pumpkin, this cat up the side. I filled in the rest of her dress. I evened up where the cauldron was 1 stitch too high, so I evened that up with a little extra fire, because what isn't better with a little extra fire? Watching the cat. So yeah, I know I'm off by something up here, so once I get her body, attached, I should be good to go. I don't think there's any other backstitching. There is just, she's holding a stick, a stir of some sort, and then there's some smoke, which I've decided that I'm going to use étoile, some dark gray étoile, just to give it a little oomph. I know we don't mess with the colors in a Prairie schooler. That's like my rule. But I think you can add a little sparkle without taking away from it. The next thing I worked on is from Teresa Kogut. This is United We Stand. And I have been working this. Those dresses. What was I thinking? Did I not see how big the dresses were? Did I not even... Look at these poor ladies. They don't even have heads. But by golly, I've got most of those dresses done. My original thought was, how good would these look in some variegated, weeks or classic colorworks or something like that. I don't think I would have had enough on a skein. That copper alone that's a lot. But I love the way it's coming out. I love just not stitching in hand, because obviously I use a hoop, but stitching on something that I'm holding in my hand has given me a lot more freedom of flipping it around and stitching in a direction that makes more sense for me, which I never really thought to do before, which seems obvious. But yeah, I've been making good progress on these big blocks of color just by, turning 90 degrees on the way back, things like that. Look how good it looks. I can't wait for that to be done. I think I may, excuse me, I may even have an oval frame that this might fit in. We'll find out. You guys, there's a snow squall going on outside my window. It's 44 degrees, so this is unusual. That's just bananas. Okay, sorry for the little interruption. I just had to text Mark to find out the hell was going on out there, he actually went out to wash his car. So yeah, I don't know if you can hear the wind chimes out there. It just like, there was like a genuine maelstrom going on out there for like 2 minutes because welcome to New England. Where were we? The next thing that I worked on is a long dog sampler. This is Templar Prophecy. And I managed to just fill in a little bit going on over here. I have recently moved the Q-snap. Okay, here's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, I watched a video about this person who uses ribbons to hold the excess fabric up around her Q-snap, so you don't end up with those big like goiters like I usually end up with. And I thought, oh, that's a fantastic idea. I'm gonna do that. And I did it, and it wasn't quite as elegant as I would have liked it. But I was so caught up in doing the ribbony bit, and you can kind of see them here, that I didn't actually move the project over far enough to work on much more. So that's why I only did, you know, what little bit was down here. So yesterday I went on, guys, I left the house. I went to 3 separate places. This is big for me. One of them was Michael's, and I wandered around in there, and I said, you know, I'm going to get myself a 24-inch, another 24-inch set of scroll rods. I want to get this on some scroll rods. I'm unimpressed by the ribbons. Not that it's a bad idea, but because I have executed it poorly, I want this on a set of scroll rods. So I bought a set of 24s, and I used my coupon, and I came home. And today I said, okay, I'm going to take this off of the Q-snap and put it onto the scroll frame, because I'm going to film, and then I'll be able to have everything right out in front, and oh my goodness, it will look so good. Hurrah for me. No, not hurrah, because I need to be continuously reminded that 24-inch scroll rods do not allow 24 inches of fabric to be wrapped around it. Pay attention, Andrea. So this did not fit widthwise on the scroll rods, so I had to put it all back into the Q-snap. The ribbons are still here. I'm still not happy with them, but they're there. They're doing their job. And the next time that I move this Q-snap, we'll see what we can do. But what I did at least remember to do is move this over further so that I can finish up, because I should be finishing right about here-ish. That should be the width of the project. And then we can move up. The next thing I worked on, I should have looked up the name before I sat down, because it is Bird Tulip Pumpkin Bird. I believe it is Teresa Miller. You've gotten all the bits and pieces. I know. I just feel bad that I can't off the top of my head tell you what this is. I started this months ago, like I think November. And really it was an excuse to try out my new fabric from Fabric Flare. This is the one with the, I think, just French writing on it. And have you ever had a project that you just don't like? You've done it wrong in every way, but you're too far in to stop now? That's what this is going to be. This is going to be a cautionary tale. Let's start with where I am. So here is where I am. I finished up the tulip, and I did a lot more on the bird, and I started his little wing. So first off, the fabric. I like stitching on the fabric. It's easy to stitch on. This is an 18 count Aida. But I think for the size of this pattern, the writing is too big. So the scale of the, you know, the pattern on the, I can do this. The pattern on the fabric is too big for this particular project. So there's that. Did this have a needle in it? Well, now I'm worried. Maybe it didn't. Okay, let's hope it didn't. I'm just going to pop it out of the hoop. Because I've decided that this project is like throwaway. No, it's not throwaway. I'm going to put it in something and it's going to be our cautionary tale. Second thing is I thought I could use this as an opportunity to try out some of the variegated threads and the overdyes that I have been receiving in my nest egg. And I picked poorly. I've pretty much swapped out everything that she originally asked for, but this, I'm going to put up the name of the colors because I really should have done that ahead of time. But this variegated blue and purple, which is really nice coloring, I started out on one side that I wanted to go like up and back so that the colors moved inward. But then I lost track of what I was doing. So eventually I just gave up and went back and forth. So it looks kind of stripy. And I'm not a big fan of the stripy. The inner red, which I think is apple fritter. Again, I went back and forth to kind of match what I had already done. But I think that would have looked better if I even had gone top to bottom or maybe made concentric rings coming in. And I think that shape, it would have been easier for me to do something like that, but I didn't. And the middle yellow is, don't tell me, Amber Waves. Which also, that one is pretty much, that's okay. I'm okay with that. It's just yellowish. It's not that big a deal. Then over here, I had started the bird using chopped chives, but that doesn't go with the bluey purple thing that I picked for, I want to say that's Auntie D. Could be. So really at this point, the only thing I am happy with is the vine. So I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to change the colors. I'm not going to pick anything out. I'm just going to keep going. And when it's finished, this will be our cautionary tale that even if you put your flosses on a fabric, you're never quite sure how it's going to come out. The other piece of advice we should take out of that is maybe don't let me pick colors. Just saying. The last thing I worked on in the last couple of weeks ended up in a finish. This is by Bendy Stitchy Designs. This is the ROLADEX Mourning Sampler. And I am so happy with how this came out. Look at this. Oh my God. Look at it. Look at that willow tree. That is what I wanted to stitch when they first revealed this. And it was the best part of stitching this whole project. That and the fun purple moon at the top. Loved it. That border is everything. Absolutely loved using the moss provided, generously by Michelle, Bendy Stitchy, the designer. Did I mention that? I think I have. I did need to start a second skein of moss. So I may have gotten a little, heavy with it at some point because it's also used, down here. And I may have gone overboard stitching back and forth. You can see the back. It's pretty dense. Go ahead, make the joke. Not unlike myself. But you can see I used a lot of it. But it came out so good. Can I just sit here like this? This should be my thumbnail. To heck with putting my face in there. I want my face in there. So happy. This needs a frame. I think. Yes, it needs a frame. It does. It does. So now I have to find a frame. A perfect frame. A frame that I love. A frame that will make it happy. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Carla, for collaborating on an awesome design. I really enjoyed it. The last thing that I worked on is actually a revisit of a finish from, if I can find it, I'll put it over there. It was long, long ago. This pattern was actually a gift from Jay at Mortuary Stitches. She's a delight. I miss her. This is Alessandra Adelaide, and this is the skull banner that I did ages ago, but never really knew how to finish. So I kind of had it in a magnetic holder, which did its job, but it's still it's unfinished. So I started doing the nun stitch around the edges. And you remember all the consternation I had about what to stitch this in? I stitched it in. I had dyed some ecru with red and coffee tea, and that was too much. And then I had just used ecru, and that was not enough. So then I coffee tea dyed some ecru, and that's what I ended up using. And all in all, I ended up with all these skeins of strangely dyed ecru. So that is what I'm using on the edges, which really, it doesn't show up as that, different from anything that's in the middle. I think there may be a little red in here, but it really doesn't show up. So I am going to edge this and then, do like I had shown before and cut off and pull out right up to the stitching so that it doesn't unravel. And then I will put it back in the magnetic holder until I can think of a more permanent solution. I may just bring it out like at Halloween and hang it up, but I can know that I can, move it around and store it and not worry about it, going to pieces. And then, maybe I can use some of this Black Ada at the bottom for a new project. Shocking. I also, courtesy of Jay, have 2 other banners that I have not started yet because reasons. And wouldn't that be a nice set to have, hanging up for the holidays? My favorite holidays. Coffee break. So that is pretty much all I have been up to for the past couple of weeks. I have a little bit of haul, but nothing worth showing. Like, I bought DMC. I'm not going to show you DMC. I bought some pearl cotton for doing some of those edges. You don't need to see that. I bought new scroll rods. They're empty, so nothing you need to see there. The one thing I did get that's kind of fun, I bought another one of these boards. You can see it here. Don't forget, like and subscribe. And I included my pronouns because I feel like that's important. So now I can leave twice the messages scattered about my set. Speaking of my set, I am growing weary of this little corner, and I'm trying to think of a new spot to sit in, things I can put behind me, more stitching that I can display, more gifts from new friends and old friends. But I don't know. Let me know if there's somebody you watch who you love their background. And I know that's a very weird question, but they don't necessarily need to be stitchers. I'm looking at videos of people that I watch, even non-floss tubers, like even somewhat more, professional. I don't even want to say professional, but, people who this is their full-time job kind of thing, what they have going on in their backgrounds. And some of them are really nice, but not necessarily my aesthetic. So if you have thoughts, leave them down below, please. So I think that's about it for this week. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your likes and even your dislikes. And thank you for your comments, especially your comments. I read every single one of them and I appreciate them. I appreciate you. Thank you for being my community. Bye, guys.